Hey my friend, welcome to a new chordal lesson. So today I'm going to show you two tricks to make your pentatonic scale sound more colorful when you play melodies. This is not a lesson on creating chords out of the pentatonic scale. Some people do it. They're just going to take a pentatonic scale and stack some notes of that scale like this, which sounds cool, it sounds modal and jazzy, but what I want to teach you this time is how to create a chord progression underneath a melody made using the pentatonic scale to make the notes of your pentatonic scale sound more colorful and pop out more. So let's start by just seeing the first position of pentatonic scale that everyone knows. It's probably the first one that you've learned on guitar, and I'm gonna do it in this lesson in the key of G minor. So here's the G minor pentatonic scale first position. You all know it, right? You know this scale. This is one of the first one. It allows you to play the blues, but it allows for so many possibilities, and I find that most people take the obvious option with it. So let's say that I want to create a melody using this scale right here. The obvious choice is to create my chord progression in the key of G minor, since I'm using the G minor pentatonic, right? So I would create a chord progression using this. So for example, the song that I posted last Monday called All We Are, I created a melody using only the notes of my G minor pentatonic scale. So aside from a few embellishments like this, it's exclusively the notes of the G minor pentatonic scale. It sounded like this. Da, 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 na, na. So that was my melody here, only using the G minor pentatonic. Right? So like I say, the obvious choice is to create a chord progression in G minor, and that would work out great. So if I label all the notes of my pentatonic scale compared to my G minor key, I would have the root note, the minor third, the fourth, the fifth, and the minor seventh. And then all the other notes are repeated. We have 5 notes in the pentatonic scale. Penta means 5, right? So we have 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, and then we repeat. So what happens is that if I choose the G minor key and a G minor chord to start my song, and the beginning of my melody is like this, da, 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 and I play G minor key, da, 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 it sounds fine, but it doesn't sound as colorful as I want, because now the notes of my melody are 5, minor third, 1. It just highlights the chord as it is. It's a bit boring for a melody to me. So now the first trick, if you want to keep the same melody but make it more colorful, and that's kind of the purpose, is that by purposefully using only notes of the minor pentatonic scale to create your melody, you open a lot of possibilities to play in different keys than the obvious one. So let me explain. You can take a key that is very close to your obvious key that just has one note of a difference. So for example, instead of picking my G minor key, I could take the C minor key, because they are very, very close keys. So in my key of G minor, let's say I play a G minor natural scale, I have 2 flats in it. I have G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, 2 flats, right? The B flat and the E flat. If I play a C minor natural scale, that would be C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. So I have 3 flats in this one. So you can say basically that the only difference between G minor and C minor is that one has 2 flats and the other has 3 flats. So it's just 1 note difference. So those are keys that are very, very close together. So if you want to do the same principle as me, you could just take the obvious key and just jump 1 string and play a minor chord here, and that would be a key close to it. So for example, if you are in a B minor pentatonic scale, the obvious key is B minor. But if you want a close key that is not exactly the same, but that has almost all the same notes, you can jump 1 string and play a minor chord here, and that would be E minor. So that's a way that you could find it, and that works well. So if I come back to my key of G minor, and I decide to make my chord progression underneath my melody in the key of C minor, that's gonna change everything. So let's say that I take the beginning of my melody, da, 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 but now I play a C chord instead. Now it's super colorful, because if I relabel the notes according to my C minor scale, C minor key, sorry, that's gonna be root, 2nd, 4, 5, minor 7th. So now I introduce the 2nd, or sometimes we call it the 9th, because it's the same thing, 1 octave higher. And this is known as a very colorful note in a chord, right? So if I start with my melody like this, now the melody, instead of being 5 minor 3rd 1, that's gonna become 9 minor 7 5 9. The 9th is a super colorful note. 9. So by just picking my key of C minor, which is a close key to my obvious G minor key, now suddenly the melody of that I created in the minor pentatonic scale becomes more colorful. So that's what I did in my song that I posted last Monday. The entire chord progression in C minor on top of my melody was like this. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Na, 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 na. So basically, let's analyze this chord progression. We have C minor, which is the root chord. We have B flat, which is the flat 7 or the 7th chord of my minor scale here. I have G minor, which is my 5 chord, and then I play a succession of A flat, F minor, E flat, and D diminished. So why I did a flurry of chords at the end is just to solidify the fact that I am in the key of C minor. So if I played only the first 3 chords, C minor, B flat, and G minor, you could argue that I am still in the key of G minor, but I just played and I started with the C minor instead. So that would be 4, 3, and 1 in the key of G minor. But then I played A flat, which is not in the key of G minor. And then I played F minor, which is not in the key of G minor. And I played D diminished, which is not in the key of G minor. So I played a bunch of chords that really belong to my key of C minor, so that I can make sure that when I come back on C minor, it really feels like home, right? When I play this, once again, when I come back on C minor, it feels like home. It feels like it is my key, right? And the second tip, and this is something that I did in the song too, is that I changed the key mid-song, and I used another technique for it. So you could go to the relative major key of your obvious key. So once again, if I have a melody in G minor pentatonic, my obvious key is G minor. But the relative major key is very easy to find. Did you know that you don't have to relearn all your scales if you want to play in major pentatonic. You just have to start from the second note of your minor pentatonic. So instead of starting on the 3rd fret, you just have to start on your pinky, and that becomes your major pentatonic. So now the relative major key is B flat major, just because I know that the second note of the same scale gives me this. So that's what I did towards the second half of the song. I changed the key on top of the same exact melody, but now it was B flat major. So now my new chord progression was E flat, B flat, F, G minor, and B flat. So it's basically the 4 chord, the root chord, the 5 chord, the 6 chord, and the root chord. And same thing when I start on E flat, I have a colorful melody on top. If I keep the same ta 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 ta, it does 7 5 3. Super colorful when I play it on top of my E flat, and etc. So what you can do is to either take a key that is close than the one you have to have more colorful notes, or you can go to the relative major, and that's super easy. You just have to locate the first position of your pentatonic and choose the second note. So once again, if I were in the key of C sharp minor, if I want to find a relative major, I just have to start from the note on my pinky. And I would know that I could play in the key of E major. So it works everywhere on the first position of your pentatonic scale. So this lesson had more theory than I used to, but I hope it was helpful to you. I hope that you learned a thing or two. And if you are still confused a little bit on how to find the chords of your key, like, okay, I am in G minor, I am in C minor, but how do I find what are the chords in this key? Which chords are minor? Which chords are major? Where do I play them? How do I find them? Then you can take my free course on guitar chords by clicking on the first link in the description box. This is the gift that I give my viewers for watching my videos until the end. So in this course that is totally for free on my website, the first module teaches about spread triads, really useful chords, and the second module talks about harmonization, how to find the chords of a key and create your own chord progressions within that key. So if you are still confused a little bit with this, my free course is gonna help you a lot with this. So thanks a lot for watching my lesson, and until next time, au revoir.